We got three, actually we wound up with 5 items to discuss just a little bit, and this is not a voting session, it's just for discussion. The commissioners here can ask questions of the audience, if so be it. But it is not normally not up for open discussion on that unless we ask for it. And it being an informal type scenario, I don't need to run no amendment to the agenda on this. Okay. What I've got, as y'all have got your agendas in front of you, the City of Nelson sidewalk project, it was withdrawn. They want us to hold on that one for right now. 2 and 3 is going to be discussed. Number 4, I've got some questions I need to ask the 2 commissioners here on the rooms in this building and how we want to proceed for the future. And then, of course, I'd like to ask Ms. Fay how she's coming along with the audit, and she can maybe give us some heads up on that one. Does anybody else have anything they would like to discuss while we're here that works for the staff? I'm glad to see you here, 4-H. Ms. Wigginton's here with 4-H. Have you got anything coming up that we need to be aware of?
I just have a special request today, but is that now when I do that?
Well, you can. I'll just put you kind of on the list that you want to make a formal request. That'll work.
Okay.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go ahead and get started. Then I'm going to bring it up to since we're not going to do item 1, it has been withdrawn by the City of Nelson / Mr. Havlin. Item 2 is proposed for landfill reimbursement application. Richard, if you want to explain that.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. Based on an agreement between state EPD and the county, we contract with Mark Bailey of Advanced Environmental to conduct environmental monitoring and reporting for the former Jones Mountain Road landfill. Mark recently let me know that this landfill is on the Georgia Hazardous Waste Site Inventory and is eligible for reimbursement claims. As far as he knows, Pickens County has never requested reimbursement claims from this inventory, and thus there would not be a max cap. And we can go back years and years on environmental corrective actions that we've done and paid for.
How far back can we go? At least ask for. We don't have a guarantee we're going to get it, but how far can we go back now?
Right. He's got information on the exact year that the landfill was placed on this inventory. So it'd be from that point on. It may be 10 years or 8 years or something like that. Mr. Bailey is familiar with the state inventory and the application paperwork. He has asked to submit the application on our behalf if we authorize it, and that would take signatures from the Board of Commissioners. If no reimbursement funds are granted, there would be no cost to the county. If funds are granted, Advanced Environmental would take a not to exceed 1% administration fee for based on the reimbursement funds that we get.
Is he aware that it has been showed up as a closed landfill from EPD and state DNR? Okay.
Yes, sir, that's correct. And Faye's ears will perk up when I talk about specifics. He has stated that the amount for reimbursement fund requested will be at least $75,000 and maybe as high as $100,000. And he stated that during the recession, the state took some money from this fund to be used for other purposes. So, for example, if we had applied in 2010, we might not have gotten any money. But at this time, the fund has been built back up, and he said that he works with other communities that have received full funding. So he's confident that Pickens County will receive some funds back. He's just not sure exactly how much. He would turn in the claim in April, and we would hear back by the end of the year. And again, this would just require authorization from the Board of Commissioners. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Keep us posted on that. See, let's go ahead. All right.
Does it need to go on the next meeting agenda?
Yeah. Are you recommending it needs to go on this next meeting agenda? Go ahead and get it processed? Okay. All right. We have number 3, Pickens County Water Board Authority. I have a letter from them. I think you two have got a copy of that letter. I'm just going to briefly read it. Dear Commissioners, in the January meeting of the Water Board, the Board made a motion to make additional inquiries into the debt owed by Pickens County government by the Water Department. The Board is requesting a financial statement for the Water Department of all assets and debts, along with a financial statement. Please include the total purchase price. Also indicate that the purchase price is negotiable. We hope the Commissioners will take into account that the project that SPLOST money has been used will not expect the Water Board to repay these items. The Water Board plans to discuss the feasibility of a buyout at our March meeting. The debt that he is referring to is the enterprise funds that the Water Board has accumulated, and that Ms. Harvey took and renegotiated and got the interest rates lowered, and combined some of them saved about $3 million back when we did that here a few years ago. That being said, I have explained to him in the past what has to be done in order for that. And I've got this letter. I've been in touch with the county engineer that's been in the engineering for Pickens County for many, many years. And this letter here comes from Chris Poget, and if I may read it real quick, it says, Rob, Ben and I, which Ben is Ben Turnipseed, the owner of the engineering company, and I discussed the request from the Water Board Authority and agreed that the evaluation of the county's water system will be a complicated assessment. It will involve more than a financial statement review as alluded to in the letter. The cost for us to prepare a proper evaluation of the Pickens County water system will be between $25,000 and $35,000. If this is a matter, if this is a matter the Board of Commissioners or the Water Board Authority wants to pursue, please let us know and I will prepare a proposal. Thanks for making us aware of the discussion. The issue that the Water Board could have with this is, number one, the infrastructure that is the ground, the infrastructure that is in the ground and the water tanks thereof, in order for an authority or anybody else to take over that, all that has to be appraised. The equipment that the county owns for the water department would have to be appraised. All appraisal have to be done. We just can't, in my opinion, we just can't sign this over to a authority per se. And if and when the time comes in the future, and I hope it does come in the future, that we can turn these items over to a authority board, hopefully, as I had mentioned in the past, that maybe the water system of Pickens County and water system of the city of Jasper can join together under Pickens County water system. On the other hand, we have to be sure before we turn this over that the entity can stand alone by itself, because once we turn it over to an independent entity, they have to stand alone. I would not be in favor of subsidizing any of that issue from that point forward, nor is it right for the taxpayers of the rest of the county to give this item over to an entity that hasn't money in it. It's not right for somebody, for instance, not right for somebody in the Leadville area to pay for a water system that they're not hooked onto. So henceforth, the reimbursement process needs to be handled. Mr. Landon, you got anything to say towards that?
Pretty well covered it.
So it can be something that we can discuss in the future, but I think there's more to it than what's in just 2 paragraphs of this letter right here, and to make it feasible. Now, if the water authority wants to pay for that $25,000 or probably $35,000 assessment issues that could be there, that's up to them. I don't know if the board wants to do that at this time.
How did this come up? What is their thinking at this time?
The board that's in place at this time wants to, and we have discussed it over the years, to make the water system of Pickens County an independent entity. There's been quite a few ideas kicked around that the only ones that would get the vote for the board members would be the ones that actually have meters from county government, from the county water system. And it has been discussed, I know, 10 years off and on for 10 years. With 2,600 customers, as all the county water system has hooked up, I don't know if the money would be there for them to just step out on their own and able to manage that for no more finances that are coming in to that point.
How many meters does the city have? Do we know that number?
Do not know that number. At the last count I had, I think the meter had 5,400 meters inside the city, and 60% of the city of Jasper's customers are outside the city limits of the city of Jasper.
60%.
60%.
So really what you're saying, oh, go ahead.
Just to clarify, that 5,400 number you said, that's not just inside the city, that's total?
That's total on the Jasper water system, it's probably 5,400.
Okay, so that includes that 60%?
Yeah. And that includes that 60% that's outside the city of Jasper, that's city water.
So really, I think the way to go is what you're saying, if at some point we could get an independent water and sewer authority and have the city and the county
Combined.
Combined.
That's the one.
That's the only way, I think.
Ms. Harvey has looked at the numbers, the original CFO had looked at the numbers in the past. I have looked at the numbers, and personally, I don't see no way that it could be, that it could stand alone, not with 2,600 customers, and incur the debt to pay Pickens County taxpayers back what they have invested in the Pickens County water system. I just don't, at this particular time in history, I just don't see it. Now, if it comes to fruition here in the future that Pickens County and the city of Jasper wants to work, something out where we can combine both systems, but that's still up to the city of Jasper to come up, and be amenable to a proposal such as that. But just food for thought. I have no problem giving them what they need as what we've got. But I'm not in favor of having to pay an engineering company that needs to be done at $25,000 or $35,000 price to get those numbers in here. Ms. Harvey can do that for what we've got. And we've given the audited numbers time and time again. So
They're on what they owe the county from past years. They are basically self-sufficient now, but it's, in my opinion, it's not enough to sustain them having their own,
right.
being independent.
We just have got them in the black, what, 2.5 years ago?
About 3 years ago,
We just got them in the black. That doesn't mean that they're just endowed with a bunch of money. I mean, being in the black, that they could clear $25 at the end of the year. In theory, that's in the black, but just to go ahead and just turn it over to them without due diligence is still yet to be seen. But I wanted to bring that to your attention. It's nothing that we need to vote on, but just want to get it out and for discussion. But the engineering company just has sent me this morning, so I hadn't had time to share it with you on the cost of doing that proposal. And they've also made be quite frank, when the engineering company comes in and talks to us in the past, they've also made that same statement. They didn't at that time think it was feasible for them to stand alone. But anyway, just want it out there. Don't want to get any confusion started, and leave it at that. Any further discussion on that, Mr. Barnes, Ms. Neal?
So you want a letter back to the water authority? This was based upon the engineers.
Well,
it's not feasible to pursue this now.
Well, not that. I went ahead and sent a copy of the email that I've got from Turnip Seed Engineering to Michelle Molnax and Philip Dean that's running the department. Be sure they can share that with their board on the cost up front that they would have to do that if that's what they want to do. Doesn't mean that the board is still going to sign it over to them, free and clear. I don't see that happening, but if they want to spend that kind of money to do that, but I believe I would have, if I was them, I believe I would have some one-on-one conversation with the engineering company to see if it's feasible to spend that kind of money at this particular time. No, they need to have some communication with the engineering company.
But before they spent that money, would y'all have a conversation with them about your expectations?
Yes.
As far as is it still going to be an appointed board, or is it going to be elected?
See, all that's got to be, all that needs to be worked out. The devil's in the details, but there's a whole lot of things to do. Just can't turn them over. But you're correct. And do you want, and just while we're in discussion, my main thought would be if you signed over, when the time comes you signed over, if the people that are actually using the county water would be the ones that would vote for who sits on the board. Now, the Board of Commissioners might have a seat, one seat, but really in general, the ones that are using the water and paying the bills are the ones that need to have a vote. But that's just my opinion. But there again, I go back to the fact that the whole citizens of Pickens County, in one way or another, over the years, have put money into this where they've got county water or not. And I don't think it's quite fair just to give this thing over to an independent entity without some sort of appraisals being done and money put back in and have to start from scratch. Y'all got any opinion on that?
I have a question. When you're talking about the 25 to 35,000 to evaluate, and you said that would be up to them. In fact, if they got together and voted to do that, that would come out of the county funds, correct?
That's what I'm getting at.
That's where Phil's getting at. They'd have to be signed off by us.
Oh, okay.
It'd be a budget.
Yeah, they'd have to do a budget amendment, have to be signed off by us.
Okay.
But I think the answer, I don't believe they would be allowed to raise their rates to cover for that cost. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but.
Any further discussions on that at this time? All right. Okay, item number 4. In the last few months, we're getting a lot more inquiries on the room downstairs. Let me just give a little quick history. The rooms in this building were designed and set up for government entity training programs. Anytime, anywhere from 8 to 5, 7:30 to 5. CLCP, collaboration for children, those type of entities, as well as judicial system of Pickens County, Fannin and Gilmer would meet here. Boards such as the Water Board, Land Development, all that would meet here. And there's 2 small conference rooms, which is 149, this one here, they hold about 12 people. What's been going on over the years is we've let certain groups use the building, Republican Party for one, the Democratic Party, they've had the opportunity to meet here if they wanted to and all that. But it's getting to the point now that what has been going on, if they have a meeting like starts at 6:30 or 7, it lasts to 9 o'clock, instead of the county having to hire security and everything for this building, I have been coming out on my own and walking through the building, locking it up every night after these meetings are over. I'm not as young as I used to be, nor do I think the county needs to spend all the money for security for a building that really needs to stay as a government entity. So now, that being said, we've got 2 options. And if I bring this proposal out, either or, I talked to Gilmer County, I talked to commissioners up in Gilmer County. What they did up there is Gilmer had the same issue in their courthouse. They just automatically charge, if you want to use one of the big rooms, they do that up there in Gilmer, but they charge $50 an hour. And what that $50 an hour pays for is security to come in and watch over and lock the building up. On the other hand, I really don't want to go that route. I just soon just roll it back to like it used to be, just government entities, government committees from 8 to 5. If they want to have a little later than that, then they can work out something, but keep within a government entity. You can rent a room at the community center in Pickens County for $20 an hour. They stay open until 9 o'clock. No need to hire anybody else. I'm sure maybe even 4-H has got extra room that they might rent them a spot. Anybody that wants a spot there, tables and chairs. It's just getting more than my staff can handle, and we don't want to enlarge government since we've already got items in place that can handle this. So, that being said, I'd like to make a recommendation, and we're not going to vote on it, but I just personally, I'd like to make a recommendation that come April 1st, that everything stops April 1st, no matter who's coming in and out, and it's just left up to government entities, government training programs from 8 to 5, and handle it from that point of view. Phil, you got any? Yeah, we can do a policy, line it up with what the school system's got or something. Y'all have any input on that?
No problem with that.
I agree with number 2. We just make it government only because the recreation department, that building is wonderful. They
Yeah.
have the little kitchen there and.
And their budget is set up, they already stay open till 9 o'clock
Yeah.
of a night. and things like that can be worked out. There's 4 rooms there that they could rent out at $20 an hour. And I really don't want to have to hire a security guard to come in and walk through this building every time a group wants to shut down. Now, as our county meetings would go, like our tax meetings or whatever, and they run over or we don't have them until 6 o'clock, that's a government entity. Anything that's affiliated with the boards that we put these individuals on boards for, tax assessors board, equalization board, those type of entities, planning and development, have no problem with that, water board, that they can handle their own. But for the public to come in, this building was not set up and designed for wedding venue, or not for wedding venues, but for wedding rehearsal dinners or baby showers or this, that, and the other. I just don't have that time, nor do I don't think we want to hire any extra people for security for these type of issues. And the cleaning crew, who's going to pay for the cleaning and the cleaning crews and all? I mean, I can just see it's starting to grow, which I'm tickled to death. Everybody wants to use the building, but we have to draw a line at some point.
Do we have anything scheduled between now and April the 1st for the Pickens room? Isn't there a GOP event or
There
something?
is, that is, I believe, March the 18th. It's on Saturday, whatever the day is.
But that's the only thing,
That's the only thing that.
so we just let them,
I would just, whatever's on the books to now, but April 1st, we just need to put a cutoff date. And it is what it is. DNR uses the room downstairs for training. I have no problem with DNR using it, things like that. But just normal public and having a building, it's pretty tough. I can't come out here of a night every time 9 o'clock and walk through this thing, be sure everything's locked up and secure. So anyway, I just want to put food for thought, and I could use your input to that, but I'd like to fix it to where April 1st would be the cutoff. Only government training issues, boards, that type of issue for this building.
And you put that on the meeting agenda, correct?
Pardon?
Would you like me to put that on the next week?
I would like to put it on the next meeting agenda.
Okay.
Even the school system will let them rent areas out if they want to, do that, but I don't have school system's got a security force. We don't have one here. All right, that being said, I'm gonna turn it over to Ms. Harvey, give us an update on your audit. And if I may, I forgot one more. I'd like for Mr. Elrod to give us an update on how he's coming along with the biddings on the ambulances. But anyway, Ms. Harvey.
Yes, we've had officers here this week. They've been here since Monday. They've been off-site mostly. They did some testing here, and they worked on the tax commissioner's office. But what they've been doing is just getting the elected officials in the courthouse, the sheriff's office. They did that yesterday. I met with Amanda this morning. It's all gone very well. They're almost finished with those. In fact, she said they probably may leave right after lunch today. And they will be back to do our field work March 20th. And we're on schedule to have a draft of the audit by the 1st of May. So that's very, we're moving along. That's very good.
Y'all need any further questions for Ms. Harvey?
If I could, I'd like to
Yes.
mention, I know I sent out an email about advertising for the tax anticipation note, the TAN, for this year, and
Give them an update on
and I
that.
sent you a copy of the cash flow deficit form. It looks like we're going to be able to reduce the TAN from $5.5 million to 4.8, which is 700,000. So that's a step forward, I think. And the bids on the interest rate are due tomorrow. I've received one bid so far. I'm expecting at least 2 more, and I'll have that ready for you at the March meeting.
Yeah.
good job.
Okay.
That's a
Thank you.
good reduction.
Mr. Elrod, can you give us an update? I know you've been trying to struggle to get some bids in on your ambulances or your remounts.
I have. We, one of the local businesses in Georgia that we've used previously for several years have gone out of business. So still looking for some close remount places. A New York company reached out to me, but I don't have time to fly up there and make sure that everything's going good, and, so I really didn't go with them. I'm actually looking for one more. We've got 2 bids in, but they've only came back with the Dodges, and I asked them for the Fords also. Chevrolet just doesn't have a big enough chassis, to put the boxes on that we have. In order to remount, you're taking the box off and just putting it on a new chassis that's already on one of our existing units. And then, but as far as the box size, Chevrolet just doesn't have a chassis that'll hold it. So I really don't have to worry about a price from Chevrolet, but I don't have any, they've not came back with any of the Ford chassis at all, so I don't have any price on those, but I've got 2 that's came back with Dodge prices. And that's going with the liquid springs, which we found really to be a lot better than the air suspension that we've had on patients. I've had a lot of patients come back and say, you know, the ride's a lot smoother and that type of stuff. So that's actually adding the liquid springs to it, and then some of the AC problems that we had, moving the AC from underneath the bottom of the box for the back unit up top above the light bar. So they came back with 2 prices. I've got two quotes back, but they're both Dodges. I don't have any of the Ford quotes back yet, and I'm still looking for another company that's close that we feel like we could drive if we, you know, if there was a problem or something, we need to go and check them out and find out what's going on. So.
That being said, if Mr. Everard is able to get 2 bids, what's our, I know he has always pushed for years, we always tried to get 3 bids, but if 2 bids is all we can get, what, does that limit us to how we do our bidding practice?
Well, the Fords you're gonna have, are they gonna send a bid in eventually?
Yes, but it's just those 2 companies that I've got, so I'm still missing a 3rd company to have a Ford and a Dodge bid. So both the companies that have already turned in the Dodge quotes, are gonna give me Ford quotes also, but,
We're still looking for a 3rd bid,
Yeah.
overall 3rd bid that we can't seem to get.
one of them that I've already got, one of them's in Georgia and one of them's in North Carolina. And that's the 2 closest that I've found so far to us, that somewhere I feel like I could drive or.
Are those 2 bids far apart in dollar amount, or are they close together?
They're fairly close.
Okay.
And I'd rather not discuss that at this time, because we haven't officially opened the bid yet. We're just trying to come and give you all that update and try and come up with, if we can come up with a third bidder.
Solicit the bids.
Yeah.
Submitted, you can't force them to submit.
Okay, all right.
So if 2's all I can get, then we would be okay.
If the county's satisfied with that. I mean, you can,
Well, the one in New York, they said, what did they,
They just requested if I had any remounts or
Yeah.
any new trucks that we were looking at. I just recently got this email. So they had to have known, you know, some of the areas where I'd posted, they had to have saw, but.
If we have to, if push comes to shove, if you know, we want to go ahead and maybe let them bid on it, I want to, if that be the case, I want to be sure we're in line on how much travel expenses is going to be involved in that above and beyond the bid process. And then how are we going to get the vehicle down here? I mean, there's a whole lot of other issues going from New York State down here. And then on the other hand, I also want to know if we have to use a New York bidding process, if we have any warranty issues, we got to take that thing all the way back to New York, or do we will they come down here? That would be, you know, that's one of the states that I really wouldn't want to drive to. You know, you just can't leave here at 7 o'clock in the morning and be back at 8:30. So, you know, those are questions that need to be answered if we go that third bid and go through New York State. That's
Okay.
Any other questions to that? All right, Ms. Wigton, this young lady, Ms. Rachel Wigton, is now the new, you got a new title. Are you a director? What?
The County Extension Coordinator.
County Extension Coordinator for Pickens County. Congratulations on your promotion, I guess. And, but please, if you got something you want to ask us, go ahead.
Yes. So I'm here today to ask a formal request from the board to look into obtaining a county vehicle for the county extension office. We've had one in the past, and I know there, were issues with former extension agents returning it. But today I would like to ask for the board to look into getting a county vehicle for the extension office now. So I know it will be a process, but for example, today, or this weekend, for example, we are competing at District Project Achievement with my middle school and high school kids. And in order for me to get all of them there, I have to rent a van from Enterprise, which is a 15-passenger van, and then another SUV for me in order to fit all of their luggage and the kids to get to DPA. So I think in the long run, having a county vehicle would save us, expenses instead of using Enterprise or having me ask for personal travel reimbursements for my car.
If I may,
Sure.
and Vic and Jerry can voice in on that, and I hope it will. If you're looking for a vehicle, I'm assuming a pickup truck?
Right, because I also do farm visits, so there are a lot of different things that I use my personal car for. I am currently the 4-H agent, the agriculture and natural resources agent, and the county extension coordinator. So I am doing farm visits all throughout the county. I go as far as Marble Hill, and then Hill City and Hinton. So I'm making quite a few farm visits. I go to monthly club meetings at the schools, and then I'm also taking the kids with my personal car to places like Rock Eagle in Putnam County. So I'm using my personal car a lot. I think it would be, good for everyone if we looked into a county extension vehicle.
All right, if I may, and I won't step on nobody's feet. You get with Mr. Nicholson sitting behind you, you come up with a pickup truck, plain Jane, we don't need no jacked up four-wheel drive apparatus, but long wheelbase, if you need a long wheelbase, whatever, and put it out, go around by Chevrolet, Ford, and Dodge here in Pickens County and see what the prices they are for particularly a white pickup truck.
Right.
6-cylinder, whatever, and see what the prices are, and then we can look at it at the next county meeting and see what we can do. And I can't promise you anything, but we need to get some prices here, because I have no idea what a pickup.
How would it affect, is there money in their budget?
Well, that's something else we'll have to discuss also.
There is.
There's something I think we'd have to look into, rearranging some line items, but.
But a vehicle like that wouldn't solve your problems if you're taking a group of children somewhere, right?
Right, but it would
Still
help me
have
out
to
throughout
rent.
the county, and there are some visits that I take to Rock Eagle by myself that, are district trainings or something, so that would help us out in some situations.
Well, if you get some price, pardon?
Only thing is that big extended cab, sure.
Well, even if you have an extended cab, y'all got many kids up there.
Well, yeah, but if you have 2 or 3 going to like officer training or something like that,
And that's something she can look at, you might be able to, we got, Ford, Chevrolet, and Chrysler here, both of them under the government contract on cars, aren't they, John?
Yes.
But you gotta have you need to put a line item on what that vehicle needs to be, whether it needs to be a club cab or a 4-door, or rubber mats, or white. You need power windows, you do not need power windows. I need all 3 companies to be bidding on the same thing. Everybody need to be on the same page. So if Mr. Nixon can help you put something together, and then you just go from the 3 dealerships and see what they can do, at least we'll have some numbers to look at to see how we can go forward and see if we can help you.
Okay.
If not, we've got we can probably find a old pickup over there, about a 1938 model that will put you no, if you can get some prices together.
You think he's joking, but
Oh, man. All right. Anything else?
No, that's it.
All right. Rodney, Johnny, Richard, Sloan, you got anything? Roy,
Just busy.
Faye, Phil? You're good. Really? Okay.
just one thing, have you got any idea, Faye, how much their squash brought in compared to last year?
2016 over 2015?
Yeah.
I don't have the exact numbers. I think it was up maybe 2 to
I
3%.
think it was up, yeah.
It seemed like the January figure or the one that you had was up. It-
It was up a good
Good
bit, but usually that's for the December collections, and it normally is.
Yeah, they run about 30 days behind approximately, before the money comes in. And,
It was back down this month.
all right, well, got everybody here, any further questions or items?
I'm sorry, I do have
Yes,
a question.
yes, ma'am.
What about the fire department property for the fire station? Is that,
We have-
where's that?
We have turned it over to we looked at, what, 7 parcels?
Yes.
In the last, since, God, October of last year, we've looked at 7 parcels. 3 of them worked great. We couldn't get nobody to sell us any of that. So what we have done, we have turned it over to a realtor here in town to locate us an acre and a half, 2 acres in a specific, that radius that we have to have for an ISO rating. And I guess we need to touch base with her to see how she's had it for what, 3 weeks or so, something like that.
Yeah, 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah, and
She's
we need to
been
follow up on
involved.
her, but the problem is finding people. We got the money, we got everything sitting there. I just, and everybody,
I was looking at the money in that account.
well, everybody, well, not everybody, a lot of them out there wants a fire station and possibly an ambulance service for the future, but I'm pushing for a fire station to help them with their ISO rating, but nobody seems to want one in their front door. So I can't fix it. I don't know how to, and I'm not going to condemn property, or I don't think we're going to condemn property, even though it makes sense more to condemn property to build a fire station or anything else, but you can't, it's hard to know ISO ratings. We got the money, but yet nobody wants to sell you the property to put a fire station on. So that's the,
We're almost 3 years into those collections now.
I know.
And it's,
yeah, we've got the money, we're ready.
I
We
know
got,
people would really like to see something.
well, we got the money for the property, we've got the money to build the building. We just gotta find a spot to put it on, and if somebody be amenable to selling us the property for an acre and a half or 2 acres, that lays decent, and in that 5 mile, 3 mile, 5 mile radius,
5 mile.
it's all got, everything's got to click. And we, like I said, we've looked at 7 different parcels, and 3 of them we love to have, but just nobody wants to sell. That's my dilemma, or our dilemma. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's, I'm going to call this meeting to an end. Thank you all for being here, and hope you all have a good weekend. This meeting is now adjourned.